Hi, I'm Conrad and welcome to this video on how to approach your first sessions with a client. Because if you're new to tutoring, then sometimes this session can be a little bit daunting if you don't really know how to approach it. So here's just some things to keep in mind for that first session. So in this little video, we're going to cover what to do in first sessions, meeting the clients, and then planning for the future. So what to do in the first session. So something that I really like to start with is just doing baseline tests for the client, especially if the client is tutoring for low ability in certain areas, then doing baseline tests is a really good way of working out which areas of that subject need improving. Something that I do is I give them baseline tests maybe a few years younger than the level that they're in, just to see if there's any gaps in the knowledge, because sometimes it's just about filling that knowledge. So if they've missed school for whatever reason and they haven't got that, then it's just a good way of seeing how to improve before we work to their level. Another thing that is really important is asking lots of questions about how they learn. I think generally I've only had one client who's given me a good answer to how they think that they learn. But if you give them a few multiple choice questions, then you get to understand that a bit better. Like saying, do you learn better visually? Would you like it if we had a discussion about the work and then we work through it together? Or would you prefer it if I just gave you loads of work and you sit in silence for the whole session? Normally they don't go for that one, but it's just a good way of understanding how you should deliver the work in future sessions. An optional thing that I also like to do before having a session with a client is just having a quick phone call or a Zoom call before the session, just to have a chat with the client and a chat with the student, just so they get to know me a little bit, so it's a little less daunting for the student in the first session. And so I can get all of the questions like how do they learn and stuff out of the way, so the first session can be purely fixed on the baseline tests, so we just have a bit more time. And really use the first session on understanding your client. And then this links to the next one. Apart from the tests, I don't really deliver a lot of learning. It's more about me understanding the client and the student and how to best deliver the information in that first session. And also tell them a lot about you, tell them about what you do, what you like, stuff that you just generally enjoy doing, because you'll find that if you have a good relationship and you open up to them and you can just chat to them generally, then the sessions go a lot smoother. So meeting the clients. So it's really important to follow the greenhouse learning guidelines. They're on the tutor website. So just make sure you're up to date with those before you start the session, just to make sure you're representing greenhouse well. Also have similar goals to what the client wants. So talk to the client about how they want the student to improve and make sure you're working towards the same goal and you're not going off piste. Just so you both have the same understanding on how you want the client to improve. And then again, the pre-session meeting is optional where you can just introduce yourself. And also a really important thing to remember is if you're teaching a client or a student in their home on a regular basis, you'll be becoming a part of that family and that child routine. So it's just making sure you're doing little things like presenting yourself in a good way, being very friendly and chatting to them, because, down the line, you could be on the Christmas card list. So it's just making sure that everybody's kind of happy with you being there and you're creating a good atmosphere in the learning space. But importantly, business first. You're there to tutor, you're there to do a good job, so always make sure that you're delivering good sessions. And then planning for the future. So use the first session or the first few sessions to build at your plan. Find out the areas in which your student needs to improve on and have a very clear goal of how you want your future sessions to go and the main target that you're aiming towards. So always plan, so when you're teaching, you should also keep it very consistent. So you're delivering the information in the same way. So when you found out how your client learns best or your student learns best, then you need to be delivering that information in the way that suits them best and do it consistently. And then this is the point I was trying to make. So tell your student and client your goals for the sessions. So especially the student, make sure that they understand why they're doing this work and what bigger picture we're building to. Because if you're doing some work that just seems unrelated, but you know it's part of the big goal, make sure that they understand that as well. So thank you for watching, and I hope this is helpful, and I hope you have a good first session.